Iba lang naman ang tawag. 3, 4, 5, MECQ, GCQ, MGCQ. Halos pareho din lang naman. Siguro any transition will really require time and a learning curve. Pero kailangan pa namin ipaalam sa aming mga kababayan, sanayin sila or at least sabihin na by this date, ganito na ha, ito na ang sistemang bago at kayo, pwede kayo lumabas para lang ma-communicate mabuti at maging mas smooth lang po naman ang transition.
The Department of Labor is now leaving it to the employer's discretion whether they will withhold the salaries of employees who don't want to get vaccinated against COVID-19. That's despite the DOJ saying that there's no law on mandatory vaccination of employees just yet. Marlene Alcaide reports.
This restaurant in Marikina has required all of its employees to be fully vaccinated against COVID. The restaurant owner himself arranged for the vaccination schedule of his staff.
Siyempre, importante rin naman sa akin ng tao ko. Kaya parang family mo, tas kailangan safe, di ba?
But not everybody agreed to JAB's mandatory vaccination policy, like Ronnie, who proudly exclaimed that he is in good health even at 54 years old.
Sabi ko, respeto na lang. Kaya umayaw po ako. Karapatan ko naman po siguro yon na para yung mailabas ko yung sa loobin ko. Personal opinion po.
Na hindi mo kailangan.
Opo.
Ronnie eventually agreed after some pep talk from his boss. Other restaurants in Metro Manila may follow suit. The Labor Department is telling employers they may now compel workers to get vaccinated. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello cites the latest IATF resolution as legal basis. It states that restaurants and personal care services may increase operational capacity provided that customers and employees are vaccinated. But he clarifies this will only be for purposes of withholding salary.
The recourse of the employer is to withhold only the pay of the worker, not to terminate. There is no expiry date because the position, the resolution of the IATF is that the workers in the restaurant should be vaccinated.
Prior to this resolution, DOLE had said that no vaccine, no work, and the no vaccine, no pay schemes are illegal. The Trade Union Congress of the Philippines warned that mandatory vaccination may result in further unemployment.
Marami sa mga magagawa ang mawawalan ng trabaho. Ang problema kasi dito sa kasalukuyan ay gusto nang magpabakuna ng mga magagawa. Subalit, kulang na kulang ang supply ng vaccines dito sa ating bansa.
On Wednesday, the Justice Department clarified that there is no law on mandatory vaccination of employees. The DOJ cited Section 12 of the COVID-19 Vaccination Program Act of 2021, which states that vaccine cards, which prove an individual's inoculation against COVID, are not considered as mandatory requirement for school, work, and government transactions. For News 5, Marlene Alcaide, we are One News.
Senatorial aspirant Sonny Matula says the no vaccine, no work policy can be considered discriminatory against employees. In an interview with 1PH's Wagpo, Matula explained that DOLE's decision is questionable, given that it is contrary to the provisions of RA 11525. Although Matula admitted that he would not be against mandatory vaccinations if it weren't against existing laws.
Sa batas niyan, meron tayong this spring cannot be above the source. Ang sabi ng batas sa Section 12 ay ito, provided COVID vaccination card, yung card, ibig sabihin nun, may ebidensya na vaccinate ka na, shall not be considered as an additional mandatory requirement for educational, employment, and other similar government transaction. So sa employment, yung pagbabakuna ay hindi dapat mandatory requirement. Ginagawa ngayon ng Department of Labor o ng IATF man, ginawa nilang mandatory. Ibig sabihin noon ay sinasalungat nila yung provision ng batas na hindi naman pwede.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. President Duterte says he assumes full responsibility for the government's war on drugs amid the looming investigation by the International Criminal Court. Over 698,000 doses of AstraZeneca shots procured by the private sector have arrived in Manila this morning, while more than 1 million doses of Pfizer shots procured by the government through the ADB are scheduled to arrive in NAIA tonight. And Aswang, a docu-film on extrajudicial killings, scores a historic win as the first ever documentary to be hailed Best Picture in Gawad Urian. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.